Dear brothers, sit down in the silence of your soul. Let go of the movements of your thoughts, and look with me directly at a question that has echoed through generations of people. How does an enlightened being save the world? At first, this question sounds like a burning hope. Deep in the heart of man, he has always dreamed of a saint, an enlightened being who will appear in the world, raise his hand of power and wipe out suffering. Wars will disappear, poverty will vanish, diseases will be cured, injustice will become justice. Your mind imagines an all-powerful savior who will come to rearrange the universe according to your will. But I tell you, it is only an illusion of the mind. It is a game of hope and disappointment, a cycle that humanity has been spinning for thousands of years. You expect a miracle from outside to change, while you yourself have never looked into the root of suffering within yourself. This world, with all its ups and downs, its fluctuations, its joys and sorrows, is already the world. It does not need anyone to save it, and it cannot be saved because it does not exist as an independent entity. It is just an endless dance of the mind, a ceaseless performance of consciousness. What needs to be saved is not the world, but you, who are sitting here, who are watching, who are thinking, who are caught in the long dream of me and the world. What is this world? You look out. See wars breaking out, hear the screams of violence. Feel injustice, see the rich and the poor, and you call all of that reality. But stop and ask yourself, where is that reality? The world you see exists only when someone sees it. It does not exist independently out there as you think. It arises in your consciousness when your eyes open to receive forms, your ears listen to distinguish sounds. Your memory works to piece together and give meaning to what is happening. When you fall into a deep dreamless sleep, that world disappears completely. There is no more war, no more time, no more I or other. All is quiet. So, the world you call real is ultimately just a picture appearing in your consciousness, an illusion illuminated by the light of awareness. This world is not out there, it is operating inside your consciousness. That is why the Enlightened One, seeing this, can only smile. He laughed because he realized the simple truth: there is no world that needs saving. What does salvation mean? You often talk about salvation as a dream, but honestly ask yourself, who needs to be saved? It is you, the person who identifies with the body, with the name, with the circumstances that change like an endless river. You suffer because you believe that you are just this man, that woman, the father, the mother, the successful person, or the loser. And when that false I is threatened, rejected, or faced with death, you tremble, despair, cry out for salvation. But understand, salvation is not turning this world into a paradise. It is not rearranging external circumstances according to your fragile will. True salvation is helping you realize that, from the beginning, you were never bound. The Enlightened One does not come to rewrite the play of life. He does not enter the stage to change the roles of the characters, to rewrite each scene. He only comes to say to you, remember, this is only a play. You are not a character in it. You are the immovable spectator, sitting silently, witnessing all the changes on the stage of consciousness. You are the invisible ground, unborn and undying, beyond all scenes. All joys and sorrows, losses and sufferings are but flickering shadows in the light of your awareness. When you understand this, you are saved. Not by some external miracle, but by the dissolution of illusion. What does an enlightened being do for the world? Someone often asks me, Maharaj, if you are truly enlightened, why don't you save the world? Why don't you use your power to stop wars, to cure diseases, to bring happiness to humanity? The question seems reasonable, but it contains a subtle illusion. It comes from the false belief that the world exists as an entity that needs to be saved. That an enlightened being must become an omnipotent being who can solve all the problems of life. But I tell you, I cannot save what does not exist. I cannot fix a dream because the dream is not real to fix. The only thing I can do for you, for anyone, is to wake you up from that dream. Imagine a person is having a nightmare. In that dream, he ran away from a terrible monster, his heart pounding, his whole body covered in cold sweat. What can you do for him? Can you jump into the dream to kill that monster? No. You can't change the nightmare scene to a peaceful garden. The only thing you can do is shake him awake. And when he opens his eyes, all the nightmares disappear in an instant. Nothing needs to be fixed. Likewise, the Enlightened One saved the world not by intervening in countless external events, but by awakening people from the illusion that they are characters in the dream called life. Once you wake up, this world, with all its suffering, injustice, fear, no longer has the power to bind you. You still see it, but it is only a fleeting image on the screen of consciousness. You are no longer identified, no longer frightened, because you know. You are not a character, you are the unchanging screen where all images arise and pass away. That is how the Enlightened One saved the world. Not by outward action, but by inner awakening. When a person awakens, the whole world in their perception is immediately different. The world changes when you change. But someone objected. But sir, the world is still there. When I am hungry, I still feel pain. When there is injustice, I still see it clearly. When illness comes, I still suffer. How can you say that it is all a dream? I replied, yes, on a relative level, everything seems real. A hungry body must eat. A sick body must be treated. In the realm of everyday life, these things cannot be denied. But that reality is only relative, it exists within the limits of illusion. It is not the ultimate nature, not the unchanging foundation. You must learn to look deeper. When your consciousness changes, the world you see also changes. When you look with greedy, fearful eyes, the world reflects chaos and insecurity. But when your mind is calm, when you see with eyes that are selfless, compassionate, and open, the world you live in also becomes clear and peaceful. The world is not a solid block of stone out there. It is a mirror of your mind. And the Enlightened One saves the world by transforming your vision. He does not need to change the external structure, because any change in the surface is like redrawing the shape of the waves. The important thing is to see the calm ocean below. When you change your own vision, the world you experience immediately changes. Imagine, if one person is awake, his world becomes peaceful. If 10 people are awake, the world in those 10 mirrors of consciousness becomes brighter, more open. And if thousands, millions of people change their vision, abandon selfishness, greed, fear, then that change is not just within each person, but spreads, creating a shift for all humanity. That is the secret of salvation. It is not an all-powerful master standing out there manipulating all events. It is a gradual awakening, like the dawn spreading across the sky. One glimmer of light, then hundreds of rays, then the whole sky is lit up. So, remember, the Enlightened One does not save the world by changing the outside. He saves the world by awakening you, by giving you new eyes to see. And from there, the world you live in will gradually reflect the peace that is innate in your nature. The true power of the Enlightened One. Do not confuse power with real strength. People often think that power is the ability to command, control nature, or impose their will on others. They think that the Enlightened One must be a universal power, a master of all circumstances. But stop and ask, whose power usually comes from fear of others, from attachment, from the need to control? The power of the Enlightened One is born from being completely free from control. The power of the Enlightened One is not to manipulate the universe. It is absolute freedom from all conditions. He stands outside the realm of being defined by the narrow ego, not bewitched by praise, not hurt by criticism. That freedom is the source of wise action. When he acts, it is not a reaction of an ego seeking security. It is action born of unattached compassion, of unblind wisdom. He does not need to fix the world because he sees the world as a phenomenon, but he understands the suffering of that phenomenon. And that understanding gives rise to compassion. The compassion of the enlightened person is not a fragile emotion. It is effective action arising from a quiet inner space. When you see another person in pain, you help, not to remove the world's imperfections, but to relieve the suffering of a suffering person. It is natural, unforced, without any calculation of reward or fame. Imagine a child who is afraid in the night. You can try to fix the sky so that it is no longer afraid, or you can carry it back, hug it to soothe it, light a lamp. The enlightened person lights a lamp. The lamp does not remove the darkness of the world, but it lights the path for someone to walk safely. It is a miracle that does not need to be shown. The miracle of presence, the miracle of awareness that is transmitted to others like a source of warmth. True power is also the unity between words and actions, between seeing and doing. He does not need to proclaim, his silence is already a sermon. People come to him not to be convinced by arguments, but to feel the field of quiet energy that melts away the mind. The transformation happens not through coercion, but through looking in the mirror. Looking into him, one sees one's own nature, and from there, illusions begin to fall away. Finally, that power is the ability to make action a means of liberation, not a trap of the ego. An enlightened person can heal, console, advise, organize, but all are not aimed at strengthening the ego. Each of his actions is a transmission, an invitation. See. Be awake. That is the great power, not imposing, not dominating, just opening the door to liberation. Who are you? All teachings, all paths, all teachings in human history ultimately come down to one single question, the most fundamental, the most crucial question. Who are you? You often answer hastily, I am this body. I am the man, the woman, I am the profession, the position, the memories of the past and the dreams for the future. But have you ever really stopped to observe, is the I that you affirm permanent? The body changes every day, thoughts come and go, emotions rise and fall like ocean waves. If all of these things change, then what is the unchanging thing in you? People often live their whole lives without asking that question. They just drift along in a series of roles. Today a parent, tomorrow a child, today a successful person, tomorrow a failure. They cling to labels, to roles, to stories, forgetting that the one who sees all those roles is the true nature. The real you is unborn, undying, unaging, unsick. It is not bound by time, not limited by the body. It is the unmoving subject witnessing the whole drama of life. The body may hurt, the mind may be in turmoil, but there is a still point deep down where all those changes are just clouds passing in the sky. And when you realize, not through thinking, but through direct awakening, that you are that unmoving sky, not the cloud, you are the knower, not the known, you are the shining light, not the temporary shadow, then in that moment you are liberated. Liberated from what? From false identification. From the blind belief that I am the body. I am the one who suffers. When that illusion is dissolved, suffering can still come to the body, but it no longer has power over you. You become a free witness, not enslaved by any phenomenon. The question, who are you, is the key. It is not to have a philosophical answer, but to dissolve all false answers until there is only a clear silence in which you see your true nature. And when you see, you not only save yourself, but the world in your eyes is radically changed. The Enlightened One is just a mirror. The Enlightened One brings nothing new. He does not add, he does not build, he does not paint. He is just like a pure mirror, so that when you look into it, you see yourself. Not the illusory you, but the immortal you, invisible, nameless, ever-present. When you look at the Enlightened One, at first you see a very ordinary person. He eats, sleeps, talks, laughs, no different from you. But when you sit in that presence, when you silently look into his eyes, listen to every simple word, you suddenly realize that an infinite depth is shining. It is not the attraction of a personality, nor is it a mystical power, but the mirror of the infinite is reflecting. In that mirror, all that is false in you is revealed. Your attachments, your fears, your illusions, you can no longer hide. And at the same time, you see what has always been there, a nameless clarity, a presence beyond time. That realization is salvation. So salvation does not come from magic, from power, or from a system of dogma. It comes from within you when you wake up from the dream of identification with the small self. The Enlightened One does only one thing, to enlighten you, so that you can see yourself.